Well, hello there, my friend. Jonathan Doyle with you once again. Welcome to the daily message. Today we're going to be talking about the issue of self-sabotage. In the years that I have been speaking and coaching people around the world, there are few issues more profound, more impactful than this one, the issue of self-sabotage. Now, you may be watching this thinking that you don't have a problem with this. I'm going to give you a really simple way to test it. The way you test for self-sabotage in your life is simply to think of an area of your life where you're really trying to get a result, where there's something important to you. It could be financial, it could be relational, it could be health and fitness, weight loss, it could be career, any particular area where you've got a clear and identifiable goal, something that does matter to you and you've been trying for a long period of time to make it happen, but you've noticed that the results just don't seem to come. It's a curious thing, isn't it? I've definitely got a couple of areas in my own life where I'm like, why am I not getting the result here that I want? And this is where the self-sabotage piece becomes really, really important. Essentially, self-sabotage has to do with unresolved internal emotional conflicts in the subconscious. One more time. Self-sabotage is unresolved internal emotional conflicts in the subconscious. Well, now we have a big problem, right? Because if it's in the subconscious, how do you deal with it? You know, experts sort of argue about this, but somewhere they talk about 95% or more of what goes on for us is actually taking place in our subconscious. One of the ways I used to prove this to people on stage was to ask this question. Can you remember where you were on Christmas Day last year? And if you think about it, you'll probably remember exactly where you were. Now, the point is, the next question is, where was that memory before I asked you? I mean, before I asked you that question, you were not thinking about that. So that memory was obviously stored somewhere internally. And you could do this for any particular memory in your life. So one of the arguments for the subconscious is that these experiences that we have in life, these memories exist below our level of daily conscious functioning, but they are shaping our experience of reality, particularly on an emotional level. So with self-sabotage, of course, we're dealing with usually unresolved issues from childhood. Now, do not freak out. We don't have to fix every one of these. We don't have to do therapy. But we just have to acknowledge that there are often unresolved emotional conflicts within us that have come from many years ago. And it's these unresolved conflicts that are going to show up as self-sabotage. How? Good question. Well, the way they basically do it is in your conscious mind, you will be saying that there's something really important to you. You'll have a clear conscious sense of you want to lose weight, you want to make more money, you want to grow your business, whatever it is, but the results don't come. How do you explain that? Why would you undermine yourself? Well, the theory of self-sabotage is that deep within, we carry these negative emotional associations. So we might have self-rejection, a sense of unworthiness, a sense of never being good enough, and these are incredibly powerful. So in our external life, we try to always keep congruence. We always try to make sure that our external world matches our deepest internal world. So if you have a sense of unworthiness, for example, maybe as a kid you learned that you weren't enough, or you weren't good enough, or you could never do well enough, you don't deserve good things. If you learned any of that, the theory of self-sabotage is that you are going to externally manifest that for as long as it takes to do what Carl Jung famously said. And he said this: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life and you will call it fate. I think that's such a powerful statement. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life and you will call it fate. So the first strategy I just want to give you, and I might do a few of these over the next few days, first key strategy with self-sabotage is we've got to make the unconscious conscious. So how do you do this? Well, I actually did some of this the other day, and it requires silence, solitude, and stillness. There's 3 S's: silence, solitude, and stillness. And if you are paying attention, of course, you know that these are very hard to come by in the modern world. So you've got to create some silence, you've got to create some solitude, you've got to create some stillness. So about a week ago, everybody was out of the house. We've got this beautiful area where it's really sunny and beautiful, and I sat there, I did a lot of reading, and then it's down to journaling. I basically got out my journal and just wrote down a whole bunch of questions from a book that I was reading. I'm going to reference that book in tomorrow's video, and these questions helped me to begin to make conscious some of what was unconscious just by asking great questions. So maybe this helps. The way to make the unconscious conscious is primarily through questions, and you access those questions when you get still, you get solitude, and you get some silence around you. So practically today, in the next few days, make some time for silence, stillness, and solitude. Get out a journal and start to write about this sort of stuff. So what do I really believe about myself? What are some of the powerful things? Or just write questions like, how do I explain to myself why I don't have the result that I want? And as you begin to write, the answers will start to flow, all right? So if you really want to start to fix some of the big things in your life, if you really want to start to make some significant changes, we have to resolve these into eternal conflicts, and nothing's getting resolved until at least you know what you're dealing with. All right, let me know what you think. Maybe post something here in the comments. There'll be a link here to my website if you want to find out how to work with me, how to book me to speak. It is all here. The Instagram link is under here as well. So please come and check them out. My name is Jonathan Doyle. This has been the Daily Message. You and I are going to talk again tomorrow.